love that. You know what? I don't know if it works for you at home to have your very own applause sign, but if it's not working, you can always come join us here at Bernie's Bungalow on Thursday evenings at 5:30. We'd love to have you down here to, well, participate, because this is kind of an interactive sport. You might like it. I'm Shannyn Moore. This is More Up North, and I am very happy to have our panel here. We've been putting this together for a couple of weeks. Dr. Rikki Ott is here. She is, well, she's a hero. I don't even know. I've got pages and pages I could read to you about her. But she's a community activist. She's a former commercial fisherwoman. I prefer the term fish witch. Do you like that?
I like fisherman.
Fisherma'am, okay. And she has a degree in marine toxicology with a specialty in oil pollution. And she experienced firsthand the devastating effects that the Exxon Valdez spill had on Prince William Sound, her life, and Alaska in general. She's written 2 books, Not One Drop, and she's written this, Sound Truth and Corporate Myths, and it's absolutely brilliant, and was also, like, you were Muckraker of the Year 2008.
Yes.
Congratulations again, it's awesome. And we also have here Elstun Lauesen. I love Vic. No, I'm kidding. I love Elstun too. I just only had so much room. Elstun Lauesen is, well, you'll just see. He's the mystery meat on the panel tonight, I assure you. And Dick LaFever is he's the principal of Crossroad Leadership Institute and an international organizational consulting company. He also is an adjunct faculty member at Alaska Pacific University. And he teaches a business ethics course. Wow, what do you say? Don't rip people off? I mean,
that's a good start.
Business ethics, military intelligence. I mean, what is the line?
We're trying to get there.
All right, so I'm really glad you're all here. I want to talk about a couple things tonight. One, because of your expertise on several things. One was the oil spill, and this week it was brought home again. I too was fishing herring when the spill happened in Sitka. Immediately left Sitka and spent the next months cleaning up the spill as much as possible. After years of fishing, it was the worst summer ever. And so I know that you went through that, all of the things that happened with that. But this comes up all the time for Alaskans, and I think it's a very painful subject. There's a lot of people who have moved here and have said, you know, get off the pot about this, or get over it, or it's all fine. I noticed this week Sarah Palin congratulated Exxon on her Facebook for doing such wonderful things at Point Thompson and Drill Baby Drill, which sounds like a porn, frankly. It doesn't sound like an energy policy. So we continually have this disappointment of our leadership actually making Exxon be accountable. So I want to talk about that a little bit. What are your feelings on that now? Do you think Exxon has made amends and should be able to put their big shingle out again?
I wish Sarah Palin would tell Exxon to come to Prince William Sound and finish cleaning up their mess. There's thousands of gallons of oil still buried on the beaches of Prince William Sound, and the scientists are saying they don't know how long it will take to degrade. Maybe another 20 years, maybe longer than that. And that oil is just a sore point. It's a sore point for the natives out on the beaches who can't do their subsistence harvest. It's a sore point for anybody who loves Prince William Sound. And there it is. It's like a splinter under our skin. It's there. The herring are likely now never going to come back. The Prince William Sound has reached a different equilibrium that is enough to support the ecosystem itself, but it's likely there will never be herring fisheries again in Prince William Sound. I mean, Exxon destroyed a viable industry. What sense does it make to trade off one for another? Where does creating jobs and mean, oh, we have to create jobs in the oil industry at the expense of our jobs in our local communities, our fishing jobs, our traditional ways of life if they're native people? You know, there shouldn't be these trade-offs. And it's not just Exxon. The leadership of this state sells out to the oil industry. There's this belief that we need oil, and really what we need is we need to take a look and get a vision and get creative about how Alaska is going to move into you know, 20 years from now, 10 years from now, it's going to look a lot different. I think the rest of the nation is going to move ahead off fossil fuels. We're going to be very uncompetitive here if we don't start growing clean, safe energies. We certainly have the space for it. We have the wind, the tidal. We have it. We're just handicapping our own growth of our own industries right now.
Shannyn, I was working for Community Regional Affairs when this oil spill happened, and my first encounter with Exxon came in the form of one of our field folks coming back from, I think it was Nonwalek, and there was concern expressed at a community meeting to Exxon representatives about the impact on subsistence, and one of the Exxon representatives said, "Subsistence? Well, we can help you with your subsistence." And the next day, a plane flew in full of white bread. You know, meals ready to eat. And I don't think they got it then, and I don't think they get it now. About 2 years ago, I wrote a column for the Anchorage Daily News about the death of the EAC language. And when the oil spill happened, there were 7 living EAC speakers. And one of the issues that kept getting debated by the EVOS process, the Exxon Valdez oil spill committee that was put together of scientists and other experts to determine the best process for mitigating the oil spill. The cultural remediation and the issues of language were always moved to the bottom of the stack when it came to dealing with what the impact is.
Right.
And part of what you're talking about when you talk about subsistence is language, is cultural relationship with the land. Well, how do you put dollars on that? They never determined the proper way to do that, and lo and behold, in 2008, I think it was, the last living EAC speaker died. Thank you, Exxon.
Well, obviously, there are so many damages that were never figured out. They were never looked at by the Supreme Court. They were never looked at by any court. And when we saw the heads of Exxon coming in, and I want to ask you this, Dick, because with the business ethics, when you have a business leader come in, and this may be putting you on the spot, I'm not sure, but whatever, we'll give it a try. When they came in and they said, "We will make you whole," this was the statement by Exxon to the communities that were hit. Did they mean to spell that like HOLE? Because I think that's more like what they were treated like. And in your perspective, in your profession, looking at this, here's a company that is bigger, has more money than a lot of countries.
No.
And how is that okay? And how can we sort of get back to something reasonable?
Well, it's not okay, and the reason I'm here tonight is I heard Dr. Ott Ricky speak on KSKA, and I was so attracted to what she had to say about corporate power and teaching the class that have 10 students here tonight. I wanted them to hear her and to get more into what this whole idea about, I think, is the corporations have gotten so much strength and power, and we become intoxicated. We become, I was raised on a farm and a ranch, and we used to have weaner calves that lost their mother, and they'd get attached to another cow. And I feel like we're that way sometimes. So we get attached to this cow, a cash cow, whether it be in direct subsidies or even with our permanent fund. And we sort of abdicate and give our power, our individual power, over to the corporation. And I think that has to change. I see that so much because as a consultant, I work with a lot of the companies, including the oil companies. Very good people, very reasonable people. People that have as much, I think, interest in keeping Alaska clean in the majority. But at the corporate level, at the headquarters level, we have some very unscrupulous people who are hired to do the dirty work. And it's all within the guise, I think, of return on investment. It goes back to shareholders. We need to have that, that return. So in the classes that I teach, we take a look at the triple bottom line. We take a look not only at the corporate profits, but we look at social responsibility and environmental stewardship. And there are investment firms now that look at green companies or companies that are trying to manage ethically and do the right thing. And I agree with Dr. Ott. I think we've got to change our mindset, and people have got to do it. I don't agree with the Tea Party movement. I think, you know, they're in some ways off the bubble. But I think there's
You
a
mean
movement.
the part about revolution?
Yeah, right. But I do think there needs to be a revolution in the terms of us as citizens becoming active and engaged. We have got to stop this insanity.